The moment you go to contact, their phones are obviously tapped. They're going to find out where you are. So even me, let's say if it's me and I'm hiding, there's no way I'm getting in touch with anybody at all, until when I feel it's safe. But that is in the case that he hid himself. Even in that case, I think I would exonerate him. Yes, would like to hear if he can say something about it. But again, there's the other case, there's the other possibility, which I think is more likely, that he was actually abducted and coerced, to give that story so that it can exonerate the DCI in front of the judge. Because now they can go and say, we didn't actually have him. He said this. But after being tortured for over 10 days, and you're threatened, and even your family is being coerced. And it seems to me, even the lawyer, because there's the OB that says something, and then the lawyer is saying something else. You can make your own conclusions. But there's one thing I just want to say, then I'll keep quiet from hands. There's a point that Anthony had mentioned earlier, and ulikuwa umeanza vizuri, Anthony, by the way. Yeah, in my view, that's just my personal view. Where you had mentioned that it seems to be whenever like the government does something, like for example kidnap or abduct somebody, so that to kind of divert attention to a specific issue, like the finance bill being passed or something else, yeah. And it seems like if that maybe that's a conversation we can have towards the tail end of this. But it's a very interesting thing about it, and we cannot blame Darwin for that. For him being abducted, we cannot, but we can take a look at the patterns of how comes before Sabasaba something happens. How comes before 25th June something happens. So I think that's a point maybe you can pin up. We can get back to it. But I want to surrender back to my co-hosts, and there are new speakers. Sorry, kuna huyu paka ako hapa. There are new speakers we'd like to hear, please. Japonji usiwasahau.
Okay, John. Redemptor, I think you can wind down in 2 or 3 minutes, and then we give to Wallace, and then Anthony, you can come in, and then the real Joy is here, Osogo, and then Cheguera, and then we give to Kim in that order. And then after you speak, then we can drop and then pick in new speakers. Wanjiro, you'll pick new speakers after that. So guys, this mic is yours. Go on.
Yes, thank you. Very briefly, I want people to think about enforced disappearance. If you're pushed to the corner and you disappear, it is enforced disappearance. Secondly, you cannot come here and say this character called Ndiangui. If you don't know him na unataka stories za jaba, I think the people on this space tunajuana in a sense that we don't call each other this character. And secondly, saying that you go to his hospital bed and asking, I want answers. Real Joe, najua unaelewa katiba vizuri sana. Ukipewa chance ya kuongea, help me here. I don't know the law. What is enforced disappearance? Please paint the picture for these people who are very ignorant about torture. Because torture makes you say what you're being told to say. And so we are assuming from that, we are dealing with angels called DCI. Asante.
Thank you, Redemptor. That was short and clear. Wallace, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you. In agreement with what Redemptor has stated, when you have now testimonials even of neighbors, if you had that this person has been picked, that's why I've said it's important you don't just spy through the window. Make recordings of this situation so that these people have less and less excuses how they can hide. And even when we began, or at least my first comment in this was, if you've been abducted and you're given the option of, do you want to be found floating in a river or as a dead body, or will you play ball and we release you, but you have to flow with this kind of statement? Most people will choose life. So it's very wrong to try and assume who this person is. For us, or for myself personally, most of you know, we have this fellowship we do every evening. He's been there. He's a Christian. He's been doing even spaces to pray for the country. That's the kind of person he's been. So when somebody is saying character, do they have any clue as to who this Ndiangui is. And on top of that, if somebody has been abducted, to think that immediately you'll start throwing at them difficult questions. Where were you? What did they do to you? That is very old. I don't even know how to describe that. It's the same way Kenyans, you can be robbed in the streets and they don't help you. Then they come and ask you, what did they take? Walichukua nini? You are traumatized. It's a high level of thickness to think that somebody has come from being abducted, going through a harrowing experience, and now they owe you something. They owe you what? Okay. And again, to be in this kind of space and say, and proudly state, I've never pinned free anybody statement. I don't know where your compassion is. If you are abducted, I will put free Anthony without any question. And we have our issues. I mean, we don't agree on everything, but I want to know where Anthony is. You don't just pick Anthony, and I'm going to be quiet. You put it out. Let's sort out the mess after somebody is free and we know they are alive and we can see where they are. But not, we reach a point where we are so suspicious of other Kenyans that they can disappear. The neighbors say they have disappeared. The people who know they've been coming to fellowship or leading prayers see they have disappeared. We have a motive. Every crime is about what's the motive. Why has he been picked? We know he's the one who created the invite industry. We know why he would have been picked. We are not thinking it's somebody who's just playing games. Okay, so we have to change the way we are approaching this matter. There was a motive to pick him up. There's a motive for him to look so traumatized, even in that court of law. People who are playing around with games don't look even that traumatized. And as we've been told, none of us are psychological experts, but always give that person time to sort of gather their mind and gather their wits. If they have gone through that experience, they're not going to immediately come to the fore and start giving you, this is what happened to me. How do you know even where you are taken? Most times, if you're abducted, you're blindfolded, they will beat up on you without seeking to maybe finish. Remember, they've learned from Albert, they went overboard. Supposedly, he was supposed to be disciplined. Didn't Kenyans see that being mentioned? That the goal was to scare him or whatever, but then something went wrong. So we cannot operate on the same level where we say he owes us anything, let the guy recuperate. And then on top of that, if again, we are Kenyans, it does not matter who disappears. As long as they are Kenyan, their political stance should not matter. As long as we know they have been picked up in an unusual and unconstitutional and an illegal way, we must come together at that point in time and fight for their freedom, fight for their being produced. As you've stated, Japan, how come every time only when things get to a head and the courts insist you must produce this person, that's when they are produced? What kinds of coincidence is that? If he was hiding, that's not the time to show up. Let him keep hiding, get them into as much trouble as possible. He would have a motive to stay hidden. But why show up and save the DCI? And they are the ones who are supposedly tormenting him. And as we've said, and I think everybody is restating here over and over again, how do you disappear? You nowadays, Kenyans, all your money is on M-Pesa. The moment you use your M-Pesa, your ATM card, anything, you will appear on the map. So I think let me pause at that because there are many people on the queue.
Thank you so much, Wallace. I think the next speaker will be Anthony. You have a right of response before we move to Real Joe and then Abdullah. Thanks.
No. Let me just listen, then I'll just come in once.
Okay. Thanks, Anthony. Then let's go to Justice. I can see you, but still allow Abdullah. There is Allen. We have Real Joe, Sogo, Cheguela, and then we still have Ayabei. Yeah. So in that order, please. 3 minutes each. We have a lot of speaker requests here. Thanks. Abdullah, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Japonje, John, Wanjiru, and everyone in the space. Yes, it is always sad because sometimes we discuss issues that, to me, sometimes Very easy. One thing, how suddenly a government that is built on lies, a government that has normalized lies in every government agency, suddenly speak the truth if they say they did not have him. So why are you believing that? They just said a few weeks ago that someone has hit his head, that Ojuang has hit his head on the wall and died. Until there was a lot of uproar. That was when now the truth came in. So why are you believing that? This is a DCI narrative that has been that is being driven. Why are you guys believing in this government that is built on lies? The other thing is, if in any case the comrade went into hiding, is there a problem of him going into hiding if he wants to? That did not happen. But if it happened, is there a problem of him going into hiding if his life is in danger? And there is no way in this Kenya, if this year want you and then you are into hiding, there's absolutely no way you are going into hiding for over 10 days and you're not being caught. There's absolutely no way. But some people, Kenyans are gullible by them. They get swayed in easy ways. Very easily. So, a government that has a history of enforced disappearance by security agencies says that they did not have this person, and you want to make that believable. The other thing that I want to speak is that why do you think Ndiangui owes anyone a reply? If he wants to keep, he has freedom of expression. If he wants to keep quiet, he has a right to do that. If he wants to. He did not force anyone to type free, and even if you did, why do you think he should come to give you a reply of what happened? That guy is probably at a duress. So why do you want to force him? Do you want him to be killed? Why do you want to force him to do some other things? I think it is better for us to let our comrade to do what he wants to do. He wants to keep quiet, that is fine. Most of the people who have been abducted have never opened up about what happened. They will open up when we have a government that respects human rights. I see your hands up. Just a minute. If Boniface Mwangi was a Tanzanian, they would probably have never said what happened. They only said that because they were now in Kenya, so they were not in Tanzania. Lastly, I just want us to connect these dots here. Our comrade reappeared exactly on the same day the DCA was ordered to produce him, dead or alive. Is that not a red flag? Is that not a red flag? So to me, this was an abduction, and he owes no one. He owes no one any explanation whatsoever of where he was, or he can choose to do what he wants to do, because you do not know what kind of threat he is under. You do not know. So I think we just have to he's alive, let us celebrate that, and let us keep our fight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. The next speaker will be the real Joe, and then we go to Sevguela, and then we have Ayabe, and then Kim. Then we move back to Ronyo, and then in that order. Thanks.
Japunji, kindly, you keep pushing me back all the time. I don't know why.
Is that Kim?
Could you
Thank
go
you,
real Joe?
Yeah, so because see, when I'm in the call, sometimes it goes around differently. I can see someone is on speaker, some as listeners, and the host can see differently. Please forgive me for that. Go on.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear. Please go on.
Okay. Thank you. I think the debate is becoming a little bit irrelevant. We are going round circles. I mean, we are talking about things that are not even going to help us. I don't think it is right for us to want to know. We don't deserve to get any explanation from the gentleman who appeared today. We don't need to get any explanation from him. And I hope wherever he is and the family can find a way of maybe rehabilitating him and getting him through whatever he went through, be it forced disappearance or the abduction that took place. So I think we don't need any explanation. And you guys, sometimes you guys talk about things that I don't, we love to put in out theories out here, which are not helping. I mean, we don't, any person who disappears, I will always say, free this person. If you don't stand for anything, it is okay. It is good also not to stand for anything. But even if today you just play with our heads and just abduct yourself, go hide and whatever, I will still say free whatever, because I believe that nobody should disappear. Like human life is very important. I don't know why these days we are taking human life for granted. So those theories that we are putting out there that we need explanation, these theories of, the government this, what, those are rubbish. We know what has been going on. People are disappearing. That is a fact. Okay, so we don't want to. It is just basic. If you can't, it is good not to stand for anything. There are people who stand for something. So human rights are very, very. This is critical in our laws, and this is where we've been going wrong. Every regime in this country has violated human rights grossly, from the first regime of Jomo to Kibaki, to Moi, to Uhuru, to now William Ruto. All of them have grossly violated human rights. Even with the 2010 Constitution, where we saw a new dawn, where we had human rights clearly stipulated in our laws. We have rights of accused persons. Even if you are arrested, and even the rights of an arrested person, even if you are arrested and all that, you still have rights. Those things, those statements that we've heard even from the government officials recently, even from CS Murkomen, who publicly said someone should be shot dead, that statement alone does not deserve to, that person does not deserve to hold public office. Because if you look at our laws, and I don't want to tell you so much about this, I've told you several times about our laws. If you look at our laws, Article 20, these guys are bound by human rights. It is the only part of our law that binds the state. They are not given to us. Everybody has freedom of movement. So when someone threatens you and forces you into hiding, this person is violating your rights. There is no debate about that. So if you don't stand for that, it is okay. Sit wherever you are, don't stand for anything. Don't ask for any explanation from any person who has been abducted. You saw, as an example, the Kitengela guys. Those guys, when they went to the media to give to explain the ordeal that took place to them, those guys even broke down to cry. It is very difficult. You guys, you might not understand if you've not been abducted. It is a psychological torture. So we don't think that someone needs to come out clean and tell us, they took me here, they took me there, they took me. It is not important to us. What is important is we have managed to save a life. If we say free and so, and this person has been freed, we are happy because at least we've done something. That is what we stand for. Even if you lied to us or whatever, even I don't care whether you lied to me. Me, as long as I say free so and I see you are free, that is very, very important to me because life has been saved. Life has not been lost. If you look at that gentleman, look at his head. Who shaved him, first of all? Look at even how his head has been shaved. And Anakamda Menyoloa na Makasi, by the way. So we want to start pushing out narratives. We are discussing someone here on this space, and I feel so bad that we are discussing him on this space, yet we don't know what is going through his mind right now. We don't know. We don't know. He might be listening through other people, and he hears Anthony speak here about whatever this and this and this. You can even, that alone can kill you psychologically. It has happened. So I don't think these are conversations that we don't need to push so much. Let us champion for the right cause. If you're championing for the right cause, let us champion for the right cause. That is what is important. That is what is important to us. We are in these spaces so that we champion for the right causes, not so that we come here and put discourse of narratives of government, of this guy must now everything, every time that we want something, a law wants to be passed. Now those things I want us to champion for the right causes. This guy said release so and so, and he was released. That is very important. We played our part. Everybody who said free so and so, that was a good gesture from you. We will continue to do that. Anybody, even if it is the current political leadership that we don't even want to align ourselves with, as long as it's a human life, a Kenyan, they deserve to live. They don't deserve to live in fear. They deserve to live in a country that is peaceful. That That is what we are championing for. So we cannot champion for the right things in the wrong manner. Okay, that's not what we are supposed to do. That is why we are losing track of all this thing, whatever thing we are calling a movement or so. That's why we are losing track. And even sometimes I see we are even aligning ourselves with the same people who are causing us problems. The same people who are causing us problems. In the name of we want numbers. We don't want numbers. We want soberness in this country. We want everybody to seek. We want this revolution to be in the mindset, not in the numbers, physical numbers. We want the revolution to be in the mindset. In 2002, when we elected Kibaki, we had a promise of a constitution within 90 days. Kibaki never gave us new constitution in 90 days. We never, and we celebrated the election of Kibaki because we knew that we saw a new dawn. There are people who celebrated the election of William Ruto, then they said freedom is coming. Now we are seeing the freedom. Maybe this is the freedom they were talking about. In the same manner, when we align ourselves with the wrong political leaders who are always self-centered, we'll still get the same results. So at the end of the day, let us champion for the right causes. Let it be a revolution in the mindset, not in all these things that we are doing theory, someone this, and we're arguing about a total rubbish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Real Joe. I think the next speaker will be Chev. Chev, the speaker is yours.
Hi, Japonji. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Please go on. 3 minutes.
The name is Che Guevara, but thank you. Anyway, there are three people who do not believe that Ndiangui was abducted. One is someone who does not live in Kenya. Two is someone who is dead. And three is a fool. You guys should not forget that this same DCI and this government, they lied to us as they arrested someone who did the Kware murders. They went and bought new underwears and God knows what, and we portrayed it on TV. These same guys are the same guys who told us that Ojwang hit his head and for some reason died until we cornered them and they had to tell us the truth. These are the same people who have been lying over, starting with the president. This is a regime of lies and it is embarrassing. Na mtu anasema hapa ati DCI is the best, second best in Africa, and I'm like, how? When my 10-year-old son can already tell when these guys are telling a lie. It is literally at a time ya Uhuru or even Moi, intelligence was not so rubbish than it is right now. It is embarrassing. Utter embarrassment. You see, the DCI dude is supposed to be the guy holding secrets, supposed to be someone who can answer questions correctly, has all the information, but he doesn't. The other day, I was even thinking maybe Gashago was right to say there's like a cabal of 100 policemen who are doing things, being ordered by Akina Farouk Kibet and Kina Ruto to do things on the side, and that is why DCI itself does not even know what is going on. Because how can you be so oblivious to things happening around you? Even him yesterday going to court saying we don't have this guy. It is actually probably the truth. They did because they don't know what the hell is going on. Someone is doing these funny things. Why would DCI come to abduct someone and hide their number plate? If they are coming there on official business, why would they hide their number plate? I'm not saying it is not the DCI, but they're not using official channels to do these things, and that is why they have to hide themselves. The lawyer of Ndiangui is a lawyer. Lawyer follow what clients say. Aliambiwa, wewe enda useme nilikuwa nimejificha mahali na nimekuja. Ndivyo nimesema, anyone who thinks Ndiangui was not abducted is either dead, a foreigner, or a fool. That boy was abducted, ameuziwa uoga, familia yake imeuziwa uoga, everybody has been sold fear. And they have chosen the easy way. It is good they have chosen that way because that boy is alive. Otherwise, we'll be having another story now. It is very, very bad what they're doing. And I honestly don't even know because even the streets are not helping. You understand? And you guys, there's a brother there. I would call him a victim blamer. Stop doing that. Mtu anaweza enda jiabduct, aende ajinyoe hivyo, anakaa ni kama amejinyoa na makasi, I just saw that boy's photo once and I knew huyu hakuna kitu hajaonyeshwa. There is nothing this boy has not seen. And he cannot even utter a single word. And we do not deserve to hear anything from him because you guys forced Boniface Mwangi to come and tell us what they did to him in Tanzania. He came and told us, and you guys started making fun of him. Mnataka huyu akuja tuambie alia hapo kwa TV ndio mfurahi mkimuitanga activist. Is that what you want? What do you want him to tell you? That he was raped so that you can do what? Laugh at him and mock him. Thank you. I learned.
Thank you so much, Guevara. And the next speaker will be Kim001, and then we need a lady voice, then Easter Sims, and then Justice, welcome. And then we move to Malia Davis in that order. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Japunji, if you can hear me.
Loud and clear, please go on.
Yeah, sure. I believe, I don't know where to start because of what Anthony has done to this very, very good space, because it's just spun us around. Yeah, he's just become the distraction he keeps preaching against. He's just become the person who who plays the system of the card of the system that he keeps telling us about. Yet he keeps telling us to jiteka mkutano fulani and he cannot really see it. He cannot see himself doing exactly all that. So for that part where Anthony, you said you don't tweet about free people, I totally respect you for saying that with your chest. It's within your it's within what you're allowed to do. It's you. You just do you. You have the free will. You have your individuality. Good. And then you go ahead and caution us because they may be playing political games. So, using the same line of thought, Anthony, I want you to tell me, do we stop reporting people to police stations whenever they go missing? Because they've been reported since time immemorial. I've grown up hearing people announcements about people who are lost, who cannot be found over the radios, over the televisions. Do we just stop doing that? Do we really stop choosing life partners because you know of the cheating that is happening in marriages because of that fear? You know? I mean, there could be a plethora of questions that we could ask about all those things that we should stop doing. Do we stop helping people because we've been conned in the process of trying to offer a shoulder for people to lean on? Do we stop doing that now, Anthony? Based on your line of thinking, you know, I believe it's possible to be very controversial at times because if you're sticking to your individuality, it might not be what people, what we may expect. But it is not entirely possible to be controversial all the time. I've listened to you, Anthony, in spaces. I've been to a lot of spaces, and you've been to a lot of spaces, and you've spoken in a lot of spaces. So it's not my first encounter with, you know? And I've been looking at the kind of thing you're doing, and I'm almost telling my mind here, maybe we should not even try to correct you. We should not, the redemptors of these spaces should not even try to show you sense, because it's not that you cannot see it. It's right there in front of your nose, actually. It's right there in front of you. But you just choose not to see it. Maybe we have to accept, maybe you have your own agenda. Might be whatever the KK bloggers do all the time in these timelines. They come here, say statements that are very, very triggering and then cause a lot of distraction. We've seen all those kinds of distractions. The ones you are talking about, Anthony, in your own words, the distraction before the finance bill is discussed. So we kept busy and then they are there passing their finance bills. Just before maandamanos, you know, the kind of things that happen kwa hizi TLs. Yeah. You might be the same version of those people, just that you just brave enough to pick up the mic and do the thing happen. You know, you just might be playing the same card in a totally different way. We've seen all kinds of reverse psychologies everywhere. I've never understood your end game because you are among the first people here to say that what we have in this Kenya is a political problem. You phrased the problems of this country very well last year. You, Tony Gashoka, have had, what do you call this guy who keeps on saying this funny ass? What do you call this guy? Andrew Kibe. You know, I've heard you. I've listened to your flow of thoughts and you are very eloquent in doing a lot of theoretical work. I did challenge you on a bit of practicality based on whatever you phrased as a political problem, because back then we never had, we had constituencies that never had a representative, that is in terms of MPs. And I did ask you, now that you're saying we need to go present our problems to Ruto on a political table, we need to, you know, I really did challenge you. Why don't you first start advocating for representation of those constituencies without MPs back then? Now that we do not have representatives for those constituencies up to now, then that really speaks a lot about now the practical aspect of whatever you had as your ideas back then, theoretical ideas. The same thing Redemptor is asking here about you quoting us figures, telling us our DCI is the second most, the second most. Okay, whatever you said, I'm totally annoyed. You say it very well, but now you also tell us that you cannot even hide from the DCI. Then how then was that Ndiangui guy you claim that was hiding now able to hide from the same DCI you tell us is so efficient you cannot even hide from them? You know, a lot of ironies here and there. I've listened to you tell the Redemptor not to get triggered, not to you've played the emotional card telling us not to get emotional here and there. I've seen you as the co-host to the space of Tony Gashoka, really allowing Tony Gashoka to interrupt people who are not accepting his line of thought. You doing a lot of nothing as the co-host there, yet you come preaching the same thing here. I don't know. I could even go on and on about these things, but I'll tell you, the reason why I'll keep tweeting free this, free that, free Anthony, free this, free that guy. One, it is my voice that I believe will help know the DCI, know that we know the person, or whatever you call thugs that are holding the person. Know that we know the person, and they'll keep that person alive. The second, the second most thing maybe would be to reunite them with their family. But now in the long run, the long game here is we have to stop normalizing the absurdities now. You know, so you have to keep doing that so that they realize there are people talking about it. Pressure them enough and hopefully see if the pressure is enough to make them stop all that things they are doing there. But you coming out, Anthony, as you did, I don't know. We keep telling Ruto that he's not empathetic, this and that. I think the closest thing I've had to Ruto in the many spaces I've attended to actually. You just might be the closest thing to Ruto. Might be the difference is
2 minutes.
I'm landing. Might be the difference is the kind of tools at your disposal. You only have a mic. Ruto has bigger guns, so he's really playing with what he has. Pale. So I think Japonji, let me land there because I don't think a minute will be enough for me to land. So thank you for the space.
Thank you so much, Kim. I think the next speaker should be Malia Davis, or Issa Sins, then Malia Davis, in that order. Two ladies. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity once again. I really wanted to rebuttal what Anthony had said. Of course, Anthony is a state cocksucker. I have no apologies to make. It's so embarrassing just listening to him. And I have information. I wanted to do a rebuttal on what he was saying about how the mom was mourning and how she wasn't mourning. I have information, of course, which I'll not disclose my sources. Over the weekend, I'm aware and I am very aware that Ndiangui's mother was threatened by the state na akambiwa nyamaze. That's why if you retrace the last time you saw her on TV, after that she didn't appear again. She kind of went into hiding. So I don't care who's listening into this space, and that's the truth and that's the fact. So probably aliambiwa nyamaze kama anataka kuona mtoto wake. So I cannot listen to people like Anthony here trying to dictate to Anthony's mother how she was supposed to react. That is just uncalled for. Na kama Anthony pia anataka kiti kwa serikali, aseme apewe kiti na anyamaze. There is no need of inflicting wounds onto somebody who is already suffering. And for those who've interacted even with the previous people who've been picked before, something just changes in them, and you can't just force somebody akuja anze kuongea sema this is what happened. They, of course, they beat you up. They beat you up. They deny you food. They question you. They use those tactics that they use on terrorists on you, as in they just change you completely. And just to second what Demta had said, as much as yes, we are activists to Kokwa spaces and everything, we want to look secular. There are some of us who have spiritual knowledge, just like Redempta was saying, and I really second her on what she said. It's just weird, it's appalling, it's demonic, the way they shave you. It's like, you know, hair has a lot of spiritual significance for those who've read the word. Hair has a lot of spiritual significance on the sense of once you take somebody's hair away from them, whether it's a man or a woman, it brings down your dignity. It makes you feel small. I understand that before they shave you, they beat you into a blackout. Unaamka tu unakuta una nywele. Where do those people take people's hair? What's the significance of that nonsense? They shave some of these people, their pubic hair, their hair. You know, what is all that? So as much as we want to ignore the spiritual aspect of these, kama Ruto, and I'm not going to be afraid, kama Ruto, kama Kinamini, Mapepo, whatever altar they are servicing, they are defeated. And one thing that I would like to advise anybody who's gone through this experience of abduction, if you have somebody who is genuinely a spiritual person who's connected to God, as in not this conman, you really need to go through deliverance. You know, also kuna hii issue ya kulishwa chakula, which is covenanted. You don't know what these people are doing to you. You don't know what they are doing to your destiny. So I don't care what anybody here says. If you're an atheist, whatever, I'm speaking to those who understand what I'm saying. I'm speaking to those who understand the language that I'm speaking. Jesus says that those who hear my voice understand me. When I call my sheep, they hear me. So I'm not talking to the sheep of the other side. I'm talking to the sheep who understand the language of Christ. So to those who are close to Ndiangui, I'll obviously tell and also get to him. He needs to go through deliverance, and anyone else who's gone through this state nonsense. So I'm very disgusted by what Anthony was saying there, and at some point he should just be discontinued from just pouring his vomit onto these spaces. So I'm just disgusted by everybody who's just speaking ill of Ndiangui on the space. And if you think you have authority to speak on what happens, ambia state wakuchukue ndio ukuje utuambie vile watakufanyia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Easter Sims. And I think the point of this space is that we can hear different, submissions, different mindsets, and then we can come maturely to, to discuss things. And I'm sure, Anthony, you're taking notes. And also we are trying to avoid personalities because it will always go back and forth, as you are all aware. So let's try to stick to the point so it doesn't seem also personal. We just address people to the point of what they submit and not who they are or. So the next speaker will be Malia Davis. Malia, your thoughts. Go on.
Thank you. I don't know why some people are really very gullible. I think the best word I can use is gullible, because we know this is not a government that we don't know how they operate. This is a government we know how they operate. This is a government which they come and pick you, like what happened to Albert Ojwang. Like, it doesn't even matter, apart from the abductions we saw before, like the ones which happened in December. And people are saying that these people, they abducted themselves. This footage, this CCTV footage showing, like the guy who was abducted from Embu, two men coming and practically dragging him from a kinyozi where he was going and putting him in a car. So how can you say that it was a lie? How? When he hired men to abduct him, Mama, what are you trying to say? So that his father can come and cry on TV. I don't understand anybody in their right mind right now who believes anything this government tells them. I don't. Anthony, is he here? Anthony, if you're on that side, I'm sorry for you. You are lost. Have you ever heard of a lost ship? You are completely lost. This government, they've been
gaslighting us. When there's mandamano, they go and bring goons. We see those goons working with the police. Then they come and tell us, no, they disown the goons, and they are the ones who are bringing them. The goons themselves, when they are under duress, they confess that it's this person who called me and told me get people and come, and this person is a governor who is allied to this government. So I don't know who is this, who is in their right mind right now, who actually believes anything that this government says. Me, actually, I cannot believe. And in fact, let me tell you, even if this guy went into hiding, I cannot blame him. And I totally endorse if that's what happened. I mean, I know that's not what happened, but let's hypothetically just say, I know that's not what happened, but let's just say hypothetically that's what happened. I can't blame him. I can't say that we shouldn't have caused an uproar, because that uproar is what has saved his life. And number one, if at all somebody like Albert Ojwang was picked by DCI from his parents' house, not his house even, like what Amin was saying, that they went to his house, from where there are witnesses. So would you, even you, ask yourself that question, Anthony, would you, if you knew, if you, just by some luck, and you just found out, somebody snitched somewhere and told you these guys are coming for you, ungeka hapo, wende upigwe, venye Albert alipigwa mpaka akakufa? Do you know how much beating it needs for a grown man, a healthy grown man who is in his 20s or early 30s to die? Wewe ungeka kwa hiyo nyumba ungoje? So let's not, and whatever uproar that we are causing on this media, we will continue to cause. We will continue to cause. Those who are saying that, oh, you know, these people who abduct themselves, they are going to now make us not to be taken seriously. They are going to make now government bloggers to dismiss our cause. No, this uproar which we are causing, because there is a point, let me tell you, this country for the longest time, it has been like, this country is for specific people. Like kuna wenye inchi na kuna wananchi. So the wenye inchi are the ones who everything works out for them. When they are killed, like what happened to Were, that's the political class. Like what happened to Were, within a week, their investigations is done and dusted. Investigations which entail like so many people, like 20 people, 12 people, and they are caught all within 1 week. But a regular Kenyan who is paying taxes for this DCI to be there, for this NIS to be there, for this security, PS for CS for internal security to be there in the office, the case just goes unsolved. Like, your case cannot be heard even in judiciary. For you to get a speedy, majority of murder cases, they take 7 years, 7, 8, 9 years, even 10, and other litigations like land disputes and the like. But let it be a mheshimiwa. Case inaharakishwa within a very short time, the case has been. So the point that we are trying to bring across in this movement is that a life of Albert Ojwang, who is a teacher by profession, but he's not even employed by TSC. He's freelancing. His life is as important as the life of Were. Were's life is not more important at kwa sababu yeye ni MP ama because akona mali. All our lives in this country are important. And therefore, DCI cannot be picking people and taking them to God knows where and killing them, or even abducting them, and then they are dumped wherever after we've made noise. We cannot have that. That's the point which, Anthony, you are not getting, my dear. And me, I don't like being nasty. I'll not call you names, because sometimes you can be deceived by the devil. So I'm just trying to show you the light. We are trying, this movement, we are trying to bring back the dignity of the ordinary mwananchi. That kuna watu wenye wako ni wenye inchi, the country is theirs, and therefore the laws only apply to them. I mean, only work for them, and it only applies to other people. It doesn't. We don't want that. That's what we are trying to say. Okay, so you cannot just take a life like what happened to Ojwang. You've seen now the police station, Mawego police station has been burnt down. Even the police, they had to move out of the way. As much as walipewa directives that mkiona mtu akikaribia kwa police station, I don't know, you shoot them or whatever the case. But you are there for the wananchi. You are there for, when you are in Mawego police station, you are there for the people who are in Mawego area. They are the ones who are paying. It's wananchi ndo wanalipa mshahara yako bro, sio president. Sio DIG. DIG sio yeye anakulipa mshahara. So you have to work with the community. And you have to work for the good of the community. The moment you become complicit in the murder of one person in the community, you are no longer working for the community, you are an enemy of the community. And I heard somebody on a space saying very well, that policemen, if you decide you are going to be shooting people, muende muishi State House. Muende muishi kwa Murko. Okay. Don't come and live in the society, because we are going to deal with you as well. We're going to deal with you. So the is this, it actually doesn't matter whether even if it's true, of which it's not, because you can see that boy. Just look at him very well. He looks very traumatized. That's not someone who was in hiding at all. Hata anakaa tu amechoka, anakaa tu he looks so shaken. So we cannot entertain this. This is I don't know, high level terrorism or what. I'm trying to even think of a criminal organization that operates like this. I can't even think of one. Ati wanateka tu watu nyara, wanaenda wanawanyoa nywele, wanawafanyia mambo zingine za ajabu. And if you had, is it Bob Njage who was saying that imagine the entire 30 days when they were in captivity, they were naked. Have you ever been naked, you yourself? Have you ever been naked for 3 days? Hata sali uko tu ndani ya nyumba yako. 3 days ukuwa naked, you are changed to a floor. That floor has tiles, so it's cold. You are on that floor 1 day, 2 days, up to 32 days. Then, the moment ukiachiliwa, the next cell, you hear like ule MCA wa sijui alikuwa wa Wajir ama wapi, like you can tell that this is the MCA of Wajir. Ukitoka nje unakuja unasikia mwili yake ilipatikana mahali. Do you think you are going to talk? Do you think you are going to be very keen on talking and very fast to talk? Those people even coming out with their story, it's taken a lot, because God only knows what happened to them, which they may not even be telling us. So saying Kenyans should come here to defend this government, for the love of God. This is a very satanic. I've never seen, and I was there I've never seen anything like this. Just madness, So please, if you're supporting this government, if you're supporting, and I'm very happy that the residents of Homa Bay made a statement that you cannot buy us through Raila, because sasa muko na coalition na Raila, so you'll come and kill one of us and you expect us to behave kwa sababu mnatule. That umalaya spirit, which prostitution spirit, which Ruto has of buying people. I can buy you. I can, even if I kill your son. There's somebody I heard on another space saying, ati baba ya Albert ametoka kwa block. Nikashindwa, excuse me, ametoka kwa block kwa sababu mtoto wake aliuliwa. Who is that? Can you show me? And they were like, poverty is very demeaning. Poverty is very, you don't have, because, and I was like, how brainwashed are Kenyans, by the way? Ati kwa sababu, the only time when you have dignity is when you are a person who has social standing. Of course, that is the philosophy in Kenya among those political class. That
2 minutes,
kama huna social standing in the society, so we can treat you any way we want. Okay, you have no dignity, you have no rights, nothing. So he was saying, jamaa ati babake Albert ametoka kwa block kwa sababu mtoto wake alikufa. Ni nani huyo mwenye anaweza uza mtoto wake? Can you tell me? Enda kwa slum sasa uambie mtu, I'll give you 10 million unipatie mtoto wako. Who will give you their child? Hata kama akona 9 children. Let alone akina Albert's father who had 1 child. So Kenyans, please, tusikuwe co-opted in some of these shit narratives which are very demonic in nature. Ati mtu ametoka kwa block juu mtoto aliuliwa. Do you think all this money he has gotten, even if it's 100 million, it can pay him back for his son? It can't. Please, let's come back to our senses, guys, Kenyans. Let's come back to our senses. It's ni kama tumerogwa, sijui ama Ruto ameturoga. Thank you. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you. Before the next speaker, the police, as usual, wameshatoa statement. Let's see what the statement says. Okay, for immediate release, Office of the Inspector General, National Police Service. Topic, resurfacing of one Ndiangui Kinyagia. The National Police Service, NPS, has noted the resurfacing of one Ndiangui. One second. Can you hear me? Somebody, I think Asia speaker is. Let me just mute her first. Asia, just wait. I'm just reading a statement from the police a few minutes ago, and then I will bring you back. I'll bring you back. Okay? So let me just read that then, because we've been talking about it here. Okay. So the National Police Service, NPS, has noted that there is surfacing of one Ndiangui Kinyagia from his hideout and subsequent appearance in court today, 3rd July 2025, that Ndiangui had been reported missing, and information circulating on social media as well as mainstream media accused the police service of allegedly abducting him. Nonetheless, he remains a person of interest to the police and is hereby urged to present himself to the DCI headquarters to record a statement. The service reiterates its earlier response that Ndiangui Kinyagia was not in police custody. We take great exception to the emerging trend whereby individuals feign abduction and provide false information to the police, intending to generate a misleading narrative that exploits public outrage and sensational headlines, thereby distorting the truth rather than focusing on justice. These criminal acts undermine the integrity of our law enforcement efforts, damage the reputation of the National Police Service, and cause anxiety to the public. The National Police Service wishes to remind the public that stage-managed abductions and providing false information to the police are criminal offense punishable by law. We therefore warn all persons against engaging in those acts. NPS reaffirms its commitment to upholding blah, 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 standards, fidelity, constitution, maintaining order, and that. So, as expected, that is what they have written, ChatGPT, 90%. Yeah, so as I bring in Anthony for a lot of rebuttals, Anthony, that is a statement that they have written, and it almost resembles with their sentiments. So again, Anthony, I hope you don't speak for the government, but that is exactly what they have said, that the guy did self-abduction. And again, I ask you, Anthony, as you come here, who has the burden of proof? Should you be the one, as I said earlier in this space, should you be the one, I assume you are on the part of DCI, to go after his alibi, where he was hiding, to find out and tell us if he was actually, I don't know even the meaning of abduction now, but to keep going, Anthony, first. Then I will ask you other questions later.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Now, I've heard a lot, but the one that caught me was Kim saying, I'm the closest thing to Ruto he has encountered so far in Kenya. No hard feelings. Now, if we as a people who want a very different country from what we have right now cannot define ourselves, then our definition will be defined by someone else. And that is exactly what government is trying to do right now. Government is trying to define this movement. And one of the ways it is going to do that is by discrediting your narrative, the narrative that we are fighting for. And the reason you'll hear me, and I might not be popular, and I'm not looking to be popular. You know, people will try and say I'm a politician, I have political ambitions. I have ambitions, I'm a human being. Whether they are political or not, is a story for another day. We want to hold a government to be accountable to us, the people who put it there. We must also, within our ranks, have an accountability methodology to ourselves. Because what this entire case is going to do right now, if Ndiangui does not come out and set the record straight, government will come and say that people have been abducting themselves. And if Ndiangui will not come out and say this and this and this is what happened, then we risk condemning all other legitimate abductees to a very dark place. There's a narrative that you also need to appreciate here. When the Kware Dam issue happened, we came out and we said a good number of female bodies in particular were found mutilated in Kware Dam. As a people who are pushing for change, none of us, or we didn't have a team that went out and said, as some of us pursue other things, some of us will stick here until we find the conclusive end of this thing. I might not sound political space correct in this space. But if there's anything that will save and will go far in legitimizing the cause, is when the people who are punished by this government find the courage to speak out and say, I think you've ever had this thing where soldiers say, if a bomb is thrown to a battalion, to a platoon, and it lands on the feet of one soldier, that soldier says, I would rather die than kill everyone else in this platoon. We are being called to do that. If we don't speak out, and I remember when this movement started, what was one of the Krajon calls? When we lose our fear, they lose their power. We need to lose the fear of speaking out. We need to come together and say, I'm going to give a chronological events of everything that happened. And we need to come together and unite, because in unity there's strength. So when I call for accountability, and when I say it's important that people speak out, it's because facts diminish lies. And if we let lies perpetuate so long, finally the liar starts looking like he's the victim. And that is exactly what is happening right now in this country. Look at us. Look at this. Look at the timeline today on X. There's a good number saying this is a cooked story. Even me, I'm asking for those facts. And there's a good number saying it is genuine. For the first time, there's a split. Now, the question will be as I land. Shall we allow our story to, our facts to be defined by us and allow the rift to grow? Or shall we face the people we are fighting and say, we are here, our voices matter, our story will be told, not by you, but by us. And this is my story. This is what I've always heard Redemptor say, that he tells her story. And that gives Redemptor a lot of credibility. So my plea today to Ndiangui, and forgive me if in the first instant I used harsh words. I beg your forgiveness for that. But for the first time, let us speak out, because in our speaking, the same way Christians say, when you speak the truth, you shame the devil. If we speak the truth, we shall shame this government. But if you allow this government to continue now, because that's what they are going to do, they are going to start setting the narrative, then their story becomes the truth. And just to land as I finish, I remember when I saw Ndiangui, I was like, this guy, I actually thought Ndiangui lived in the US. But I plead, let us do away with fear. Let us come out and say what happens. Because if we don't say it, then our story will be told for us. And he who writes the story determines the facts. Island.
Anthony, before Redemptor, before you come in, there's something that I'm getting from Anthony, but it's not making much sense. Because, Anthony, you have to know that the DCI or the police, they have that monopoly of distorted formal communication, and the same way they did this communication is the same way they did for that guy, Albert, allegedly the one that they say that hit his head on the wall. So we have lost trust. First of all, you have to know where we are starting our conversation from. We are starting our conversation from the point of loss. We don't have trust, we don't trust them, first of all. So when we start our conversation there, then only it will make sense to you that we create our own narrative around. And that's why we have these discussions in these spaces whereby there are two things here. Whether he was hiding, he has his own rights. We cannot condemn him. And that's why I'm angry at some. You cannot condemn him for hiding for fear of being abducted by people that we don't know. And DCI are coming out and saying, yes, we went there to arrest him. How do you go to arrest someone with unmarked cars? You don't have IDs. You know, this is a problem we have as a country. Then once they disappear, the same people who are saying that he abducted himself will say, we don't know, those are not our cars. Can you bring evidence? We have been through this vicious cycle for long. We get tired, Anthony. So when you see us saying that we don't trust this authority, we have a reason. I can give, if you had time here, I can give you 12 examples of what they do, what the police do, how they change the facts, how they try to change things. But we retain our own story, as Redemptor said, and we will keep saying it until they come out of darkness. Thank you so much, Anthony. I think Redemptor, you are next.
Japonji, please let me say something. Let me say something to Anthony. Anthony, have some empathy. This man, you don't know what he has been through. What if he has even been sexually assaulted? He's right now, the DCI has already come out and said that he's still a person of interest and he should present himself to the DCI office. So he's not even out of the woods yet. He doesn't know if he talks and then he goes there, what will happen to him, you know? So I've told you the kind of things that these people are going through. Imagine being naked on the floor, on a tile, a floor tile for 32 days. Like what happened with Akinanjaki. Now, even if it is for 1 week, or like what has happened with this guy, do you think he'll be thinking like that? Put yourself in his shoe. Just have empathy as a human being. Have some empathy and understand. Put yourself. I want you to just think of you being in that situation. And you tell me whether you'll come out, guns blazing, press conference, you want to talk and say everything that happened to you. Maybe Boniface Mwangi was able to do that because he's been through a lot. So it's easier for him to heal from trauma. But this is someone, the first time, maybe they've never even been to a police station like what happened to Ojwang. Your first time. Then you are taken through, and he's been so threatened that, by the way, bado kesi iko. So you try. Just try and just speak something like this. Ama even you enter spaces, sukuone tu umeingia kwa X, utaona. Na kesi yako
Thank you,
bado iko
Malia.
hapa. Thank you.
Thanks, Malia. Back to Redemptor.
I don't know if she had spoken. I see her hand. I can let her go first.
Who, Dennis?
I obey.
Wajiro, can you say, I only see Dennis Kirui's hands up. I can see Mogambi and Wong.
Can you see me?
I can see her.
Japonji.
I can see her. Also, let me
she's
just
there.
note, we have just about 30 minutes,
Yeah, the space should end in
so
30
we may
minutes.
not add new speakers.
Is she
Sorry,
speaking?
John is saying that the space should end in the next 30 minutes. So we will be taking, I think, maybe 4 minutes max, something like that, as we wind down. Yeah, that is what he's saying. But keep going. I think Ayabe is yours. Go on. The mic is yours. Ayabe, can you hear us?
I can't hear her. So let me go.
Even me, I can. Yeah, go on.
So let me go. So first of all, let me correct Anthony about what happened to the quarry victims who are women, and they say the bodies were 40. When you say that tuliwekwa busy na hakuna watu walifuatia, people dedicate themselves to every atrocity. That's why we have human rights defenders and we have social justice centers. So people did follow up, and if you remember, there was even M. Changa for one of the Shujas who was helping with the retrieval of the bodies. I remember Mukuru Justice Center posted the fate of the families, and then the post was deleted. That should tell you something. Now, when you say victims should come and tell their stories, I want to draw your attention to the fact that the victims of the torture chambers have spoken for the first time. I have followed these people, these Shujas. I followed them for a couple of years. I just wanted to hear their stories. And I have been to that chamber and I was looking at their faces, scanning their faces. One of them walks with a limp from the waterboarding, from the torture that happens there. For the first time in since I was young. I saw them come and give an interview. So when you say people who've been gone through an ordeal should speak, you really don't know what torture is. Torture does not even have to be waterboarding, kupoliwa your nails out, even a phone call. In this state where we were just living with Ojwang, and please note, we have never lived in a situation where we see dead bodies, but now we are seeing. So all of us, when we hear Albert Ojwang, we are flooding ourselves with him as a good, handsome young man so that we forget the image of his tortured body. So that one, if you're going to go to another conversation, and I know you will join other spaces where you will victim blame, please do not say he owes us to come and speak up. I'm saying Itobu Imanyara, people like Wafula Buke, people like Dr. Professor Kariuki, who wrote a book about his experience, 2 weeks in hell. He talked about 2 weeks in hell. These are people in their 70s. People like Willie Motongi were detained. When people come and say, you shouldn't, you would have, you shouldn't, you don't know what it does to somebody. So I don't think there's a perfect reaction or a perfect victim. I want to summarize and say the truth. The police have made a statement and said we are wanaharibiwa sifa. Wah, okay, finally. Tevo, I see you. Tevo understands the spiritual element. Finally, a very brief story, very summarized story is that human rights defenders in this country, and I hang out with them. I don't know if I'm one of them. We know that in that group, it's infiltrated by the system. It's full of people who are surviving. I don't know why.
Erickson, please mute your speaker. Redemptor, sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah. So I'll just tell you, recently we saw a femicide case where a young woman was brutally killed in an Airbnb. And then it was said the person was a human rights defender. Did people stop being human rights defenders? So I have an appeal for Ndiangui. From the bottom of my heart, most of his friends dropped from the space. And I guess they dropped because of Anthony's submission and the gentleman who came to submit. It was very unfair to his friends. What we do, when you saw that people went online and said, you see, human rights defenders are fake, they are even thieves. We know when you're a human rights defender, we have even thieves and murderers in our midst. How do you tell who is genuine and who is not? So what happens when one of us is wounded, we stand up. And during Kenyatta's era, one of the digital activists would post this picture of the most wanted man for taking loans. And this year would raid on him and they will take all his gadgets. That alone, that act alone, we didn't come on online. Some of us were not even on X and say, is he genuine? How do we know he's not just doing? No. People would fundraise and buy him his gadgets just for sleeping in a police cell and for being raided. So for these genuine soldiers that are out there, they target small wigs because they think no one will care. They targeted Ojwang because they knew he was a son of a poor man. They had already done a background check. They knew he was. They knew everything about him by the time they were going for him. So this is my appeal to the friends of Ndiangui. Let's have an Changa. Talk to Wanjiro, talk to the others. I think, like I've said, most of his friends have dropped, the ones I know. Wallace and the rest. Let's buy his gadgets back. Even if they are returned, they will be bagged, they will be spoiled. Every information has been removed. Let's give him the dignity for what he was doing back. Just for being arrested. We don't shame them. We don't laugh at them. Leave alone him disappearing at a time Ojwang had just been brutalized in a police cell. So I don't care what the theories we have.
Damson, let me have the mic after you, okay?
Yeah, so I don't know who wants to do. John Seremali, you do to Siwa Forget. I would want someone to start that initiative where we say Paule to this young man and we buy him his gadgets. That's what we do as human rights defenders, are people who know fighting for the corruption fights back. Evil fights back. Wickedness fights back. And we push back with love. And so we are sending, this is my last submission today, I'm sending all my love and to anybody who is risking their lives by speaking truth to power. And let's stand together and we will never stop doing hashtags. We will never. Because even in December, we saw a young woman who was said she had not abducted herself. It made news. That same December, we had the young people who had been disappeared. for enforced disappearance includes you being threatened to the extent that you hide. That is already, even this DCI making these statements, they think we don't know the law or we don't know what torture is. And to anybody who feels tortured psychologically, Poleni, stay strong. We shall overcome. Aluta continua.
Thank you so much, Redempta. Please stay by for the closing remarks. We are going around for 2 minutes. Asila, take the mic. You have 2 minutes, please. We have 20 minutes to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Asila, and I'm here to highlight something. It might be off topic. I'm sure some of you are aware we are still under colonization. And I'm interested in leadership in Kenya and in Africa in general. So I want to talk about this narrative that people talk about Ruto must go. It's okay, Ruto must go. But one thing that people need to understand is the roots of the problem, yeah? We have roots of the problem, and the root is that we are still under colonization. So whenever a president is elected or someone is put in there, they have a protocol, a system that they have to follow. We as Africans have limits that the colonizers are still controlling everything that we have. So if people are planning on removing Ruto, either you put some people are on Maraga, some people are on this senator is called Okia, some people are on Matiang'i, Gashago, or whatever the person is gonna be. But people need to understand that we have roots of the problem, and we Africans have limits. Unless we have someone who is gonna step inside, or is it step down? Okay, that is gonna drain the swamp. Someone like Ibrahim Traore, you understand why he's facing challenges from the West, yeah? So yeah, that's what I wanted to highlight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asila. We're looking forward to that. And the next speaker would be Dennis Kiroi. Dennis, please take 3 minutes up, and then Kibunja in that order.
Okay, thank you. Finally, I've gotten the chance. I've been waiting for a long time now. First, let me begin by saying that Ndiangui was abducted. And it doesn't require rocket science to know that he had been abducted, because the state is known to be a such a kind of entity that that can even come but since the time of Moi, since the time of Kenyatta, historically we know they exist. But now the problem is that any reasonable person can can easily conclude that the victims of this enforced disappearance are commercial activists. One is that they usually do not come and disclose what happened to them during the period of detention, because they are threatened. They are psychologically tortured to the point that they are not even willing to disclose what happened for fear of being killed or arrested or being subjected to the same treatment. Now we have to understand that the fact that these people are not willing to tell us what happened. We have Kibet Bull. She was abducted in a similar way. Was just dumped in I don't know what do they call these ceremonies in Kakamega. Now, but now the act of remaining silent after undergoing those tortures is what is making them is what is making us not to progress. Because the people like Raila Odinga, James Orengo, who spoke after being tortured, they would come to the public and tell the people, Moi tortured me in the Moi chambers. Moi did this to me during the detention. And that would propel the case for revolution and for multi-party democracy. Now, these people who are coming here they just come here to social media as if nothing happened, is what is making us not to progress. They must come out and speak, tell us what happened, because that brevity, that brevity is what will make us to make progress. Otherwise, we shall be stagnating. Our democracy will be stagnating. We will not be moving us and as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Dennis, you saying that anyone who has been abducted, they need to come up and speak, and truth to power. So let me ask you a simple question before I move to the next speaker. Have you ever been abducted? Yes or no?
Personally, I have never been abducted.
Thank you.
I've never gotten a
Kibunja, the mic is yours. Please go ahead. 2 minutes up, 3 minutes, go.
Yes, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, please. 3 minutes.
I don't think Anthony justified in any way the issues of abductions. Nobody is forcing the victims to make any confessions. But I think you can never win in a war unless you have devil's advocate in your team. I felt bad when I heard somebody saying that Anthony is being controversial for the sake of being controversial. You cannot have a team that is monolithic thinking, that we are all thinking on one side. We must have devil's advocate who look at other ways, because we are not dealing with the amateurs. We are dealing with people who are very clever in these games, and they play it 24/7, which is government. So we must look at every story from multiple angles at any given time. Any information, whether it's coming from Ndiangui or the lawyer or whoever at any point, is very important. So there is a difference between being devil's advocate and being termed controversial. So I think nobody is forcing Ndiangui to speak, but I can tell you any information coming from the victim is very, very, very powerful to the wider audience. It doesn't mean that he's forced to do it. He can do it at his own time, voluntary. But I can tell you, when I watched even Akina Bob Jagi from the TV, that image could play in the mind the way things were, and even triggered even more conviction in my heart that we are dealing with animals. That information is very, very key. We are not being insensitive, but we are just putting the way things are, because we know all the other characters can tweak the information, because they don't associate it. They are not the one who felt the pain. But when the victim comes up and say, "This is what I underwent," it is more powerful, and it sticks to the audience. I learned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kibunja. And Kibunja, something that is coming up is that we should rely more on information from the victim and wait for them to speak up, because their word is powerful. I agree with you 100%. However, we should give them time, because there's no template that says that once you are tortured, you take 2 or 3 days, to get back to your normal self. We have even no idea what happened there. And I can tell you, Kibunja, for a fact, I know Billy Mwangi as a friend. I've been with him even before he became like an activist. And even he cannot even tell me some of the things that happened to him. If you talk to these people who have been abducted, and I think, Redemptor, you've hosted them, there are things they cannot tell you. So you ask yourself, what is it that happened to them? They come out different, and we are not able to crack that yet. We don't have the resources, but that's for another day. The next speaker will be Wong the Revolutionary. Please take 3 minutes. We are out of time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, everyone in this platform. I want to come with another angle of what we are going through in this country. And I want to come with the solution to the problems we are going through. How can we stop these abductions? Because so far, we have realized that the government we are having is not following the law. And the citizens have no moral authority to follow the same law that the government is breaking. Why can't they just do arrest like normal arrest? Why should we weaponize the security, our servicemen, to intimidate people in the country? Why can't we sit down? We have only one country, the way they are saying. We and the leaders, we can sit down and say, this is the problem. Youths are saying, please, we need employment. Please, we need police to stop these abductions, this police brutality. Please stop corruption. What we are asking as a country is good governance. Why is it that the government we elected cannot listen? And I want to say this. We have to come up with some policies, or if I can say, put in that word, but I wanted to use a bit harsh word, to ensure that our neighbors, our friends, our fellow Kenyans are not abducted. What can we do to stop these abductions? Because I want to tell you for a fact, government is not ready to stop these abductions. They are not ready. Because what happened last year, when William Ruto came out, our president came out and said that he was going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he was going to ensure that these things are not happening. Remember when he was in State House and he said that abduction has stopped and people who abducted have been returned to their families. What is happening right now? Kenyans have to wake up and come with solutions. We know that these things are happening. Yes, we want to talk with the victims. We want to know what happened to them, which is okay. Let us just give them some time. They will talk to us. You know, being in the hands of these people is not that easy. These people are cruel. Remember, these are the people who are sent to come and silence you. If there are no people who cannot follow up on you, then they will even kill you. And I know that in this platform, we have some NIS listening to us. And I want to talk to them also as a people. My fellow Kenyan, because before you are an NIS or a DCI officer or a police officer, you are a Kenyan. Please don't take instruction from politicians. Politicians comes and goes. You will be in service for the next 10, 15, and 20 years or more. You have to protect your fellow Kenyan. You have to know that we have a Kenyan even after these politicians are gone. You cannot work harsh, you cannot react harshly or kill your fellow Kenyan because of a politician who is only using you. And in the matter of that you are arrested or you appear in court, then they will abandon you. I have a proposal to make to my fellow Kenyans. We have to stand as one. We have to unite more than ever. Because if they decide to divide us and succeed to divide us today, then it will be even worse. It will be worse. A tyrant does not fear ballot. What a tyrant feared most is action and reaction. If Kenyans can do the way we are going, we are saying this is wrong. Whatever you are doing is wrong. Yesterday I was watching JKL, and the guys, the Gen Zs who are there, and some millennials, I have to give it for them. These people are saying, we are not afraid. We are only demanding for good governance. Why kill the innocent Kenyans, the same people who gave you that power? Why kill them? Because they are only demanding for good governance. So we have to unite. We have to unite as Kenyans and say that you government, you sought to protect Kenyans and their properties. You cannot be the one who are abducting the same Kenyans you sought to protect. Now, if you cannot obey that law, then we have no reason why we should obey the laws which you yourself are breaking. So why can't we say then that as Kenyans, if a Kenyan is abducted, the same area where he's abducted, with immediate effect, we will walk to the police station. We will demand that there is no way you can abduct people, arrest people if they have done anything wrong. Do you know why abduction is taking place? Because these people have done nothing. They are only trying to use intimidation to silence Kenyans.
1 minute, you're out of time. Please, 1 minute.
Okay. Let me just finalize. I want to appeal to my fellow Kenyans, please, and I beg you on this. Let us unite. We cannot say that all police officers are bad, but some are being used by politicians, the same people we elected. So I'm just asking, we unite and speak out. Make sure that you have number that can help you. If you are abducted or something wrong is happening to you, please share with immediate effect so that we can follow up and we find you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And as you come to the speaker, please try and take a maximum of 3 minutes and give your final remarks so we don't have to take new speakers. So, Lyson, the mic is yours, and then after you, we'll go to Erickson, Kim, and then Anthony in that order. Please, thank you.
Thank you, Japonj, and the host. I'll try to use my maximum 3 minutes briefly and clear. Number one, I know a lot has been said, so I'll not want to go into details as to whether he abducted himself or not. I think that's a rather obvious question. We know how the system works, and the truth will come. Any serious person who has been in this struggle and who is pro this struggle should not have a lot of worries about the person wanting our request or our zeal, wanting the guy to speak immediately after court as if he's a politician. You know, if you step out of court, you come and tell Kenya, you know, I was forced, that's why I lied. That's bullshit. I don't think we need to waste our time there. Let the person heal, or rather, if he was hiding, let him settle down, his house, and know what is happening. If he was frightened, let him go through the moments. He has things to write with DCI and those kind of things. We'll know the things in the course of time. So there's no emergency. And those people are pushing the narrative that this person, Inyage, should immediately tell us what happened. There's something suspicious about them. What is the zeal of wanting this person to explain the circumstances? You have not been abducted yourself. Some of you have now been abducted. Some people here have never been treated pre-Kenyagia. And they're the ones now here telling us that Kenyagia should explain himself. So I want to say that's bullshit. Let's give the young man time. I think what we need to do is to celebrate him as our hero. In fact of all, he gave us a very good program where we were supposed to hang Ruto by 2 p.m. So that is one of the positive we should be saying, that our hero is still alive after giving us a very good program. One of the things that was exciting me about his program was at 11 o'clock, I think 10 o'clock, Kimbi and police drama was an item there. But I think it was not followed. Kimbi started very early. So those are the things. So for that creativity of a young man to come up and design such a program, and it went viral, and it stimulated the revolution, we must salute him and we must celebrate him. If he hid because the police were looking for him, that was a very good move again. If he was actually updated and he's recuperating, and because of our pressure online, he was released, then we thank ourselves. Either way, we have won. But to enjoy and to turn our guns against ourselves and start saying that the government won, I think because he should have spoken, that's bullshit. We must kill that vibe and we must celebrate our heroes back. We give him time, even Akina Rex and others were given time before they spoke, even the Kitenge. So there's no emergency. We celebrate him, and you can see the government is trying to push the narrative that people are abducting themselves for them to justify abductions in the future. We refuse and we celebrate our hero. And we need more programs like this for Sabasaba. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lyson. The next speaker is Anthony Go. Final submission, 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. My final submission will be unity of purpose, clarity of the mission, and an awareness to the people we are fighting or we seek to replace. Those would be my simple remarks.
Thank you so much, Anthony. That was short and clear. I think, Kim, give me your final words, please. And then we go to Erickson, final words. Kim?
Yeah, Japan. We'll make it very easy for you. We'll be using Anthony's clock as the bar here. And so as I end this piece, mine is to remind us to really try and define what is this thing we call the system. We try to define it. And then we need to ask ourselves, who are its players? Who are its enablers? And how do you enable it so that If you ever find yourself or your actions actually playing playing to the hands of the oppressor, actually rubber stamping the oppressive nature of such a regime, always count yourself as a tool in the toolbox of the oppressor. Thank you very much, Jakuchi.
Thank you so much. The next speaker, Dr. Idris, please, if you can, 3 minutes, please. We're winding down. Dr. Idris, Dr. Idris is on the listener. Erickson, please go ahead. 3 minutes. Erickson, if you can hear me, please.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So okay. So now my first and foremost, I want to say thank you for letting me into this space. I want to say thank you very much for this time. The first issue I want to address is on politicians. See, these politicians, number one, you want to understand that they fear, number one, the press and media, and number two, they fear numbers. So when it comes to press and media, let's say something like posting something on social media, you can see like an example is when you post something on social media and it goes viral, you are most of the time abducted. You see, example was Kibet Bull, and now it's Ndiangui. So what I would like to say is let's try and be careful on what we post on, especially on social media. Number one, and also be careful on what you are commenting. Yeah. And also on the last part is, when you see a fellow activist is abducted and then after some time, by God's grace, he's released, please, these bloggers who are coming out and attacking them and saying bad things about them and saying that it was staged or anything, please don't. One example is Boniface Mwangi, alias name is the People's Watchman. He was saying that, and I quote, Ndiangui Kenyagwa atoe mask na hoodie, awache kukaa kama mkora, anaficha aje sura kama mtu muongo. So number one, you want to understand that Boniface Mwangi has ever been abducted. Okay, you can remember the story in Tanzania, also here in Kenya, sometimes it has happened now and then. So now that he has been abducted, he should be the first person at least to go and try and comfort the guy, because this is the first time that Ndiangui was abducted. And somebody like Boniface Mwangi, he already knows and he has already experienced what has gone on and what goes on when you are abducted. So number one, to these bloggers, mine is just to the bloggers who are attacking Ndiangui, let's give him time, number one. And also, let's stop threatening him. Let's give him his time. He has his things that he's sorting out right now. Give time also to the family. You don't know what they are going through. So these bloggers who are just posting randomly because they have followers and likes, kindly let's see on that. Let's see on that. Yeah, and that's all for me. My last, and in summary, I would just like to say that I'll repeat what Redemptor has said, that let's give him time, number one. Number two, let's wait for first-hand information from Ndiangui. When Ndiangui will be free and comfortable to speak to the public, that's the time that we will judge from there. But as for now, let's just wait and see and see what comes about. Yeah, that's all. Host,
Thank you.
thank you
So
much.
much, Eric. Idris, 3
Yeah,
minutes.
sure. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, the host. Thank you, the speakers, and thank you, the listeners, for this opportunity that you have granted unto me to make my short submission concerning the what transpires in the past or in the last few days concerning Ndiangui. Like, we need first. We need to consider both side of the coin, because I don't see the essence of rushing to make a conclusive report or to make a conclusive declaration that it was a self-managed abduction. Let's wait for the guy because speculation are there. As the other speakers had said before me that maybe we don't know this. We don't know what transpires, but there are possibilities that it was self-abduction or it was a state abduction. So let's wait the guy to undergo medical checkups. Let's give the family the privacy, and let's allow the lawyers, the family lawyers, to perform their tasks, so that we can know what's happened or what transpires during those days that our colleague went missing, because we cannot right now rely on the information we are waiting for him to recover, maybe whether he is sick or not. Let's give the due process to occur. Let's wait for guidance and counseling and further direction from the lawyers and from the people who are involved in this matter. But I urge the public that let us just be cautious and let us not be swift in replying each and everything that we comment, because it may trigger some serious constitutional issues that may make us to be the targeted individual over this matter. So kindly, guys, I urge each and every one of us, let us be very vigilant. Let us be very cautious, even as we are waiting for the due process to occur. Because for someone to proclaim that he has been abducted, there must be something behind it. And even the eyewitness who witnessed the cars, they said 5 to 10 cars, which they claim that they were parked beside the apartment that the culprit was residing. We are still waiting for them to make an affidavit or to swear an affidavit, so that
1 minute,
they
doctor, 1 minute.
Okay, so that they can pronounce their stand and what they witness. Otherwise, I don't have much to say. I'm very grateful for the host and the co-host and all other people in the speaker session and the listeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Idris. Malia Davis, the speaker is yours. Malia, if you're there, just unmute. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's give Ndiangui the time and let's give him the grace. Let's continue keeping him in prayer as we are praying for him to be found alive. He still has a case to go and answer at the DCI. He's supposed to present himself there. We don't know now what will happen next, whether he'll be arrested, he'll be detained, or they'll go to court. And I don't know what are the parameters of treason, because I understand they want to charge him with treason. But the last time I heard of treason was during the era when that pilot was killed, the last person to be executed in Kenya. So treason has a very high sentence, very steep sentence. So he's still not out of the woods, to be honest. He's now traumatized, and maybe even something bad has happened to him. Maybe he's injured in one way or another. Of course, he'll need psychosocial help. Some of the people who went through this, they have problems sleeping at night. I mean, they have so many post-traumatic stress disorder. So they need a lot of therapy. Probably they need some medication to deal with anxiety. So we just pray for them. We support them, as Redemptor had said, that we can start a pay bill for them so that they can be able to get their gadgets back, because probably they may even be using those gadgets for work as well. So let's reach out to them and let's not judge them, because even right now I've seen that the MCA for is it Molo Ward has been abducted. So the abductions are now on steroids. People are being abducted. Maybe 2-3 people in a day are being abducted every other day. So we still have a problem, and it seems to be worsening, because before it was like isolated cases. So I don't know what they're trying to do. Is it like they're trying to abduct so many people that we won't be able, these people, they always have a spin, and they always have something that they're up to, and they're doing something. So they could be just abducting many people, so that we are left in a situation whereby we can't even push. Because now, for example, if 50 people are abducted, who are we going to push? It slows down the momentum of the push. So I think that's what I can say. And then also about the police should understand they live in the community, they live with Raya, they don't live in space. So let them not antagonize the Raya, because they live in that society and that community, and they're expected to serve those people. You can imagine now, like Mawega policemen, the police who are in that police post, the kind of hostile environment they'll be facing with all those villagers you saw today. They can have a very hard time. They need to think about that, about community policing, and not doing things just for the sake, because somebody told you do this and then you do it. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Malia Davis. Mugambi, and then Redemptor will close down. Mugambi, your turn.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, I was here, and then I don't know if you guys called me, and then my mic network
Yeah, that's why I
issues.
brought you back. That's why I brought you back. You dropped.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I was to do a contribution on. I'll start with my story in 1 minute. There's this incident in Ifanyika after data on 25th. So nilienda kwa nyumba, tumetoka maandamano, nikaingia kwa nyumba nikatulia. I was on a space actually ya Mabonga. So you were talking on after maandamano. And then after nimemaliza doing my submissions, nikasikia mtu akipisha kwangu. And then sikufungua, I thought it's my neighbor, nikasema huyu amelewa, sitaki anisumbue. And then he insist. I was like, let me go and open and check nani anapisha kwa mlango wangu. It's very unusual for me to have guests.
Sorry, Mugambi. Is there a way you can go to a less noisy place if you don't mind? Otherwise, continue.
Yeah. So with that, nikapata ni police officers. They never spoke to me. Waliniangalia. A good thing, the way they were insisting to knock on my door, my neighbor akafungua. And then this guys just wakatoka kama wameenda. They were two individuals. Wamevalia kofia and this normal jackets za maskari, and then they left. So kwenda kwa security guard, I was like, you guys, how did you allow someone to come to my place without notifying me? Wakaniambia no, walitoa ID ni police officers and they were looking for you. So that time nilikuwa scared. I called my friends. Nikamwambia, this is what has happened. So I'll be offline for a few days. So mbona nimeleta hiyo story? Actually, nilikuwa very scared, to be honest. Mbona nimeleta hiyo story? Let's not judge this guy. Whether alijificha, whether alikuwa abducted, this is not something that to be scared about. Mtu akuje kwako, it's not si kitu rahisi. Wezi like kwako unaogopa kwenda kwako because you fear something. Imagine sasa kuwa abducted. So let's not do that. Like let's just stand with the guy, whether he did that or not. Let's stand with the guy and anybody else, because that thing is very bad. And we should stop condemning our brothers and sisters in this journey of ensuring that we are having a better Kenya that we will happy about, a better Kenya that is developed, a democratic society. So let's stop condemning each other. We may differ in opinions, ideologies, but what we all want is a better Kenya. So today, let's always stop that criticism of fighting each other, and we want is a better Kenya that's good for us. The other issue is that tuache kununua propaganda from these guys. Don't even the government bloggers. Those guys don't think. They think their stomach is the one that is talking. We understand that poverty is the enemy, so let's not allow that those of our friends when wanaongea na tumbo yao we listen to them, ama the demolarizers. Let's always focus on the mission, the goal of ensuring that we have a better Kenya, a democratic Kenya, a working Kenya, where taxes are working for us with better healthcare, infrastructure, employment opportunities, and a Kenya that has a
1 minute,
better
please.
environment. So with that, ningeomba that as we fight for this, let's not listen to these bloggers. Let's focus on our journey. Let's ensure that we are fighting for this. The politicians are easy to skiza because they're there for their stomachs. Mumeona kitu wamefanya juzi of ensuring that they are encouraging something. But we love our moment through the referendum. Na niliona mseme post that soon we'll be visiting them in their homes. If they are not going to listen, that's the way. But at the moment, let's stand in solidarity with with each of us, to ensure that they see in numbers. Let's not criticize, let's not condemn, let's support each other, let's grow together. That's all my submission. Na mahali muko, this moment, have a good evening, guys.
Thank you so much, Mugambi, and I hope you're safe. Please take care of yourself, and if you feel like you have any threats, just reach out to others, inbox, and document everything. Take photo, take video, anything you can, and keep it safe. You never know. Thank you so much. And finally, Redemptor, as we wind down, please take 4 minutes as you wind down. Thank you.
First, I want to apologize to the host and the co-host. And you did very well. You managed. I brought chaos in your space. And the reason I brought chaos in your space is I was in a turmoil for those 14 days. And I remember June 25th, I kept thinking, we are not going to agitate for Ndiangui. I was looking for Wanjiru. I mean, we know each other. And I'll say this, the fact that he is alive is a miracle. I don't think I can take that for granted. And on a lighter note, I write books. If I could write a book, it would be how Ndiangui hid from DCI, because it's ironic, because I don't think it's possible. You remember the MCA that tried to hide, the MP who tried to hide, the one that was found gagging and frothing from the mouth, and then the same story. Even in such cases where DCI come with number plates and they say this person did it, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Why? Because they lie under oath. And I appreciate the journalist who told the director of DCI to his face, Kenyans say you lied. Now, my very last submission is this. Big wigs overrate their influence. Including Boniface Mwangi, who has 2 million followers. Because the other day I was hearing him saying, and I've never dissed him in public because he's a comrade, but today I'm upset. And he was saying, we are few, the organizers, we are few, and then we went, and then we were with the mothers. So you got a permit, and then what was supposed to happen to all the other Kenyans who wanted to protest? And I've said repeatedly, there are only two faces in Kenya, the face of good and the face of evil. And so when you come and say, I represent a constituent, even an MP, which constituent? So big wigs overrate their influence, because the same Boni tried to be an MP, and I would have voted for him. But Kenyans, they will follow you on X, but they will not follow what you're saying. So anybody who is thinking they're commanding Kenyans on X, you're lying to yourself, even if you have 2 million followers. Maybe I only have 5,000 and I can influence Kenyans more. So rich people also, rich politicians, they have now become the expert of our poverty and our suffering. They know what we should do with our suffering. And that's why, allegedly, Gladys Wanga has gone and given poor people of Homa Bay 500 or Siaibishe Baba, allegedly. And they are not on X. They don't know about Siri numbers. You know, when you see somebody coming on TV and saying, oh, Siri number was government. Oh, so what? So what? People came out in their streets. So that's what I will have to say. And my very final submission is that this regime, and I want to be quoted, and somebody has said, will be brought down by the tears of the mothers of this nation. The mothers are not on X, they are not on Twitter, TikTok, they are not anywhere, but they are watching. And they are watching with the labor pains in their hearts. And they are crying. And they keep saying, any mother who sees a child shot projects on the spot. Anybody who's going to see Ndiangui in court with the mother is going to put themselves in the shoes of that mother. There will be many opinions. The usual people will come and say, oh, Ndiangui was not abducted, it was to stop this. I don't believe that. I believe he's a God-fearing man. And I speak life to him, and I speak wellness to him, and I speak a bright future to him. It will be tough, Even people who are very close to me, Japonji, they battle with post-traumatic stress disorder. They have blackouts. They found themselves somewhere they can't account for 4 hours of their lives. What happened in those 4 hours? So only sadists. And today, nimeshika nani ko. Kwa sababu he is always saying, I was with this politician, I was with these politicians. We are here, and somehow there's something that unifies us. We go back to our cocoons, we go to our tribes, we come back, we still come back here, and there's something that we have in common. And I always say that is an assignment that has been laid in your heart. I sat with myself and asked myself, why am I doing this? I could write a book, I could do something else with my life, I could look for a job as a communication strategist. Why am I doing this? I am doing this because at a very tender age, I told God I would serve him. I did not know how that looked like. And speaking for the oppressed is serving God. Kenyans are oppressed, even those with the, and I've said this is final, but I'll say the final one. I have had a misfortune, and Japonji, everyone who is on this space knows what it is when your loved one has a terminal illness, especially cancer. And at the very last stages of life, they try everything. One of my closest family member, we used to say wanakunywa zile agriculture zao, they would take concussions of may her soul rest in peace, may her beautiful soul rest in peace. And I'm sorry I have to use as this example because I loved her. What am I saying is when you are very desperate to live, you will do anything to live. And so Kenyans are very desperate to live. And the political system that is existing knows they have a terminal illness. They know they are dying. So they will do anything. Hata wakiambiwa kunywa mkojo kama people with HIV in the 80s, watakunywa mkojo. Wakiambiwa uwa mtu wataua. They are so desperate. They are clinging on to power. They're not holding it. It's slipping through their hands. And for that, stay safe. You're dealing with people who want to live so badly, and then another group that knows they are dying. They know they are dying, and there's nothing they can do to stay alive. So sending love. Thank you for hosting space. John, thank you for Tusiwa Forget. My area of activism, I am a writer, I am a speaker. My area of activism in this country is brutalized Kenyans and forgotten victims. I know a victim when I see one. And that this year that we were told does very well has told many victims that I've interviewed, why did you talk to Redemptor? Why don't they want people to tell their stories if they have nothing to hide? May truth win. May what is right and just win in this country. Kenya, like 254 likes to say, deserves better. To all you courageous human beings, especially our young men, you're being targeted for that courage. They want to harvest it. Stay safe. I wish Ndiangui can tell us how to hide, because we all need that lesson. We need to know how to stay safe. And if that is not the case, if he was brutalized and he was hurt, again, I say we wish him healing. Please, Wanjiro, I have said we are going to buy gadgets for Ndiangui. We have to buy his gadgets. So figure it out, Wanjiro. I can trust you. Reach out to people who you know. Let's figure if it's a pay bill number, if it's a direct number. Tutatuma hizo pesa anunue new gadgets. That's the least we can do. We've done it before for people who have been through less. People who just spend one night, had their time yangu imeisha. Thank you very much, Japonji. John Seremali, Wanjiro, thank you for allowing me to debrief, because I've been carrying a very heavy burden about what's going on in this nation. Asanteni sana, mbarikiwe. God bless Kenya.
Thank you so much, Redemptor, for your closing remarks. Wanjiro and Wallace, do you have anything to say? John, do we have time? John, host, do you have some time?
Yeah. Just give Wallace 3 minutes, I think, and
okay.
Wanjiro as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and also,
I will start because I have to go. Sorry for jumping, everyone.
no, you're not jumping. You're next. Go on.
Okay. I think I started the space with John from the beginning. I have been having a wave of becoming mad with some speakers, cooling down, becoming mad again, cooling down. Hey, sinyinyi watu mnaweza fadisha mtu blood pressure. If Ndaguin was listening to the space as I was listening, and I'm not even the person who have been abducted, Aki would be mad with all Kenyans. How can you? People are not grateful at all, you know. I don't. Do people even listen to themselves when they're speaking? And you put yourself in the shoes of Ndaguin, and you think, ingekuwa ni mimi Ndaguin, what would I be thinking? I was just so mad about that. But apart from there, I can see we have a lot of sober Kenyans as well. And we have sober people who are reasoning and resonating with what is happening. And also, to be specific, I'm mad with people like I think it was Omoshomba. I saw her posting something ati amejificha. She should apologize to Kenyans. I'm like, woman, you are a mother to somebody else. That is a son of someone you're talking about. Ati alikuwa amejificha. Who even trusts the DCI? Who even trusts the DCI to start with? I'm just so shocked because whoever trusts the DCI walituambia Albert Ojwang alijigongesha kichwa kwa ukuta. And they wrote with that story. DCI have told us walituambia Kware ati wamepata the serial killer wakatoa innerwears za wanawake zenye zina kaunti ati that was the serial killer of Kware, Who even trusts DCI? They should literally ask themselves why Kenyans do not trust them. Kenyans literally do not trust their own government. Reason being, they lie. Hawafanyi uchunguzi, they are so in a hurry, they are employed because not of merit, lakini sababu wanajua mtu ama because wamehongana. That is not even news, that is the truth. These DCI people do lie a lot. And we need to only trust in ourselves. And just like the Homa Bay youths have done, justice should be served. Ni sisi tu itabidi tu tumefanya justice sisi peke yetu tujue how and what it happened. And why that it? Let's give Ndiangui some time to actually cool down. He should relax, be given his entire time. When he's free to speak out, he will come, even on a space like this, and tell us, Wanjiru, this is what happened. But right now, starting to kill his morale, trying to make him feel, I don't know, he has already been abducted. God knows what they did to him on those cells. And now, you want to tell us he has to. Theories are not helping anybody. Let somebody cool down, put yourself in his shoes and be as humanly possible. Anyway, apart from that, I'm so grateful for the sober minds as well. I'm grateful for every other Kenyan who have stood against any criminality. Na nasema sabasaba, we have to show up. This government has to go because the root of everything is Ruto. If Ruto was actually a good person, he is not. We would not be talking here. We would not be having all these problems, Ndiangui would have never thought of even making a poster like that of saying, alikuwa amechoka. The main motive of even him making such a poster was because amechoka na hii serikali. And instead of these motherfuckers actually seeing it, ati wamechoka, I don't know who even advises them, it could be Sudi, but I actually have no idea. So, kwa hayo machache, I bow down. Back to you, Japonje.
Hey, come on now. Thank you. Wallace, close up. Last speaker, Wallace, go.
Yeah, thank you. And if you want, I'll play for you the anthem at the end. To say that the most important thing is that Ndiangui is alive. We are thanking God for that. We need to be very empathetic. Yeah, we know his friends, including ourselves, we fellowship with him. We'll give him space to even beyond the gadgets. We know he needs to restore, to get his sanity back, his peace of mind. And so we'll be, even will of course give him time to get in touch with his friends. Right now, it's just give him space, because even if you could see his pictures, you know when a face is spaced out, all spaced out. When somebody is looking into the distance, they are not present, So his sanity is very important, his peace of mind. And as Wanjiru has said, I really wish he does not get to hear any of the online chat. I hope he'll be kept offline for some time, because people can be very insensitive. It's very shocking to hear somebody saying they've never even sent a single free anybody message, but they are here saying, why has he not explained to us what I think that's very insensitive. So for those of you who pray, kindly keep him in your prayers. And as soon as he's back online, I'm sure he'll get in touch with his with whoever he feels he's able to start talking to, and people will stay ready. If you are ready to reactivate his gadgets, get his gadgets back, that will be fine. But for now, his sanity that is most important. Then I want to remind Kenyans unity. Besides saying serene in numbers, unity is the power of the numbers. The numbers uniting them is very important. Let's keep patriotism at our heart. We still continue to sing the anthem together. I'll play it for you at the end. But let's say if you're abducted, or if we should insist as Kenyans, because we are law abiding, if DCI wants any of us to report to police, don't they put out messages in the public domain where you see a rich person or a minister or somebody is being told, can you report to DCI? They should do that to us, or if they figure that we have broken the law, it should be people are on space. So you should be able to present yourself. And of course, if you're wise, make sure your friends know, people come. So that there's no question of who, if you're going to be arrested, everybody knows you've been picked up. But we know, of course, right now, they're operating in a very criminal-like way, which is very disappointing. But Kenyans should not take it. So let's use our unity with patriotism. Let's agree again in future. Even the neighbors, if you see somebody being picked, take video so that besides your affidavit, you have video clips of the person being picked up, being dragged, being arrested. Like the way, remember Njeri, by the time Njeri was picked, people were recording. Even they recorded the faces of the people arresting her. There was no way they were going to say we don't have her. People were even ganged around and they were asking, where are you taking her? Who are you? Those kind of things, because you are not breaking the law. We cannot, if we are afraid and we are the majority, it will not serve us. It has to be that thing of, if they are picking somebody, we want to know who are you that's arresting this person, and a lot of them brandishing guns, where all you do is hide behind somewhere and take that video. You should be able to step out and say, hey, kwa nini mnachukua huyu jamaa? Mbona mnachukua huyu madam? And others record, so that it's always clear who has been taken where and when. So I think that's my final submission for today. Let's keep praying for Ndiangui. We know he'll get in touch, but for now we're giving him family time. We don't know how he's been threatened. I imagine if it's you and somebody says, if you ever speak anything on space, we will pick you up again or harm your family. We don't know what conditions he's been given. So we'll give him all the space and the grace and the prayers that he needs right now. So thank you, Wazalendo. God bless you all. God bless Kenya. We have won this war. There are a lot of battles to go, but we need, with our numbers, umoja na uzalendo. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wallace. Wallace, before I do my final submission in a minute, I just say stand by for the national anthem, which I know you put pride a lot on it, and we're all patriots. So as we wind down, I don't know if John, maybe you can speak later to your space, but my submission is very simple. There's an assumption that an idea is true, moral, or wise just because many people wanna believe. And what I've realized that it is flawed, because majority can be wrong. If you look at history, things like slavery, sijui tano tena, chungwa, sijui, all these things, they have overturned, by evidence and ethical progress, that they don't work. Majority opinion is always not right. And also, we have to all agree that abductions are happening. Once you start on that premise, then you ask yourself, why is the government not following the due process? And why, again, is the police nowadays telling you that you are guilty until proven innocent? I think it should be innocent until proven guilty, according to our constitution. So why would the police take you without any evidence? And then while you are in the police cell, that's when now they start looking for evidence. It should not be like that. And that is what we are fighting for. And I wanted to ask Anthony, unfortunately he's not here, but just for the record, I wanted to ask him, why is it that we cannot start asking the former AG's son what happened to him during abduction? It's been long. According to his hypothesis, why is it that we couldn't ask the former AG's son, but he wants us to ask Ndiangui. Why, why the hypocrisy, And should we also say that he abducted himself as he was trying to purport? Well, I believe that we always have to evaluate ideas on evidence and reasoning and not the crowd size. You're in the right place. Remember, you're doing a great job. Wallace, I don't know why Ronyo is not coming up. Kibunja, it was very nice. I don't do a lot of co-hosts. It's very difficult, and I have respect for you, Akina Wanjiru. It's tiresome, and now I understand. Remember, you said we can get something for Ndiangui, but my take will be very easy. Do assessment, you go on the ground, see what's happening, because sometimes what we have on space here is different from the ground. Go there, do your own assessment. I know you've done a lot of these things, a lot of respect for you. I've been listening to your spaces with the others. And yeah, thank you so much, John, by the way, for hosting this space. It was very timely. We always learn. No one has monopoly of ideas. And please, let us always allow others to speak, even if they're on the opposite side, so that we can come up with, narrative to counter, so we understand them better. We cannot, if we don't listen to what they say, we can only assume. And when we are at that point of assumption, we are at a disadvantage. Because sometimes when the enemy is making mistakes, we don't correct them. Let them make that mistake. But if we can counter with facts, and they will not have room, as we have proven today, Redemptor and the rest, Malia and the rest. We just have to ask them very basic questions, and they cannot be able to answer. And once they are pushed to the corner, they disappear. Let them come to space, please, John. If you're hosting or Redemptor sometimes, bring them in, put your facts straight, and they will not be able to answer. Thank you so much, everyone, and God bless Kenya. Back to you, Wallace. Please play the national anthem. God bless.
Thank you. So here is the Kenya national anthem. We sing it every Fridays at 2. And we, of course, now we'll be pushing the hashtag end abductions as well. And we'll be taking a minute's silence for those who've lost their lives and been abducted. But that will be tomorrow. Here's the anthem for tonight.
Nguvu yetu, si baraka kwetu, haki iwe ngao na mlinzi, na tukae na undugu, amani na uhuru, raha tupate na ustawi. Amkeni ndugu zetu, tufanye sote bidii, nasi tujitoe kwa nguvu, nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda, tuwe tayari kuilinda. Na tujenge taifa letu, ratibu wetu. Kenya istahili heshima, tuungane mikono pamoja kazini, kila siku tuwe na shukrani.
God bless you all. The link is in the comment section. God bless Kenya.
Asanteni guys. Yeah, me, I'm just glad Ndiangui is alive. Now, if he's listening, Erickson Chalo, the family, they were praying for him as well. So, cheers. Endelea. Good night.
They shave your head, they break you down, so you're broken to pieces. Once you come to the camera, there's nothing you can say, Afro. And this issue of telling us some of us are abducting themselves is to plant that seed of doubt in our minds. Tusiaminiane, tukue na shaka. Huyo Kiotia, amepoteza potea. Achana huyo Kiotia, ameenda kujificha mahali anataka kujulikana. You know, they're planting that seed of doubt in our minds, so that we don't actually focus. We lose focus. We don't trust each other. And guys, this is not the only thing they've done. Remember, the last maandamano, you know what they did? They tried to bring that mambo ya ukabila, ni Wakikuyu peke yake on the streets. You see? They always want to bring something for us to focus on and divide.
Ali, umeona wale Wakikuyu wote walikuwa Homa Bay leo wakichoma police station. They took a lot of Kikuyus from Thika and Kiambu. That's the narrative they want us to believe.
Exactly. So stupid. So stupid. So they want us to be talking about those side shows and we lose focus on actually what is happening. Actually, what Mustafa was saying was so true. But not only because of this time, but people from Northeastern, trust you me, especially around Mandara, they get abducted. It's like peanuts. And it's not now, for many years. For years and years, Mandara, Garissa, and those kind of places. And somebody would be lost. Unless you have a link to maybe prominent member of parliament, and you go around them and say, kijana alikuwa ametoka tu, whatnot. Sometimes they get thrown somewhere different and you get a phone call, you're told, ako hapo, out of nowhere, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. And this was way, way before all this maandamano and everything else. And some of them never to come back, you know? So it's sad when you cannot move on if you don't bury your loved ones and you don't see them again. It's very difficult, very, very difficult to move on. So maybe and the Sabasaba actually holds a lot of bad memories and a lot of rage. Probably that is why we need to come out in numbers, absolutely in numbers. And please, whenever you're going out, make sure you go out in a group. Our strength is in our numbers, and don't go out alone. Make sure you have a group of people with you and you become your brother's keepers. I seen Afro and KOT. I seen a guy who was actually planted in the demos. Wakamshika, they knew. He was taking some pictures on his phone. They knew he wasn't one of them. He had to tell them, ametoka police station gani, I don't know from, where did he say? Somewhere in Nairobi, and how people are sharp now. You know, I loved it. How Kenyans are becoming too sharp, very wise. And they say, this guy, you're not one of us. They dragged him. They did not slap him or do anything or torture him the way they do to us. But then they made sure he actually admitted that he was NIS and he was from one of the Nairobi police stations. So I say kudos, looking forward to it, but let's remember not to focus on the side shows. Thank you very much, Afro, KOT, and everybody else on the space. Kwaheri.
Asante sana, Hannah. Thank you. Great to know that you're doing well, and thank you for your input. Yes, it is very amazing that Kenyans are sharp. They're seeing through their fabricated lies. Manze wanatubebanga aje. Manze, sometimes you see the lies and we have dead bodies piling up and they just want us to look away. Because if we look away, the nation will look away. If the nation looks away, the international community looks away, and then they continue with their impunity. And this has to put a stop. These guys cannot continue.